history was made this past week, but history was made on April 11th this past week.
Yeah, time travel.
Yes, I'm sure most people listening to this, I hope, are familiar with Back to the Future. This would almost be like a Back to the Future 2, though, in this case.
I'm less familiar with that.
Yeah, I mean,
Is
because
that where they went to the Old West or?
no, that's the third. Baseball
Jesus.
Back to the Future 2 is when they say the Cubs win the
Oh,
World
that's the one.
Series,
Yeah, yeah.
and there's the
Over
betting.
over
There's
Miami.
yeah, and there's the betting guide, and the Biff's making money because he's going back and forth in
Yeah.
time, placing the
That's the
bets
only
on
reason
the
to
game.
time travel is to win
Exactly,
gambling shit.
to win to gamble.
Fuck yeah.
So, back on April 11th, Javy Baez was playing with the Cubs. The Cubs lost to the
Yes, I remember him with the Cubs.
You do, yeah, lost to the Pirates that day, 7-1, but he had a solo homer. Also on April 11th, Javy Baez pinch hit for the New York Mets, was hit by a pitch, had an RBI single, and scored the winning run for the Mets.
You lost me.
Both of these games occurred on April 11th. Or did they?
Turned my mind into a pretzel.
Or did they, Smitty? So it turns out that game one of a doubleheader this past week against the Marlins was a game that was suspended, which was kind of widely publicized as to why they even attempted to play it, because Marcus.
Oh, I lost Pete
there for a second. Yeah.
Okay.
The question was why the game was even started and ended up being suspended, because it should have never started. Marcus Stroman threw exactly 9 pitches in the game in a torrential downpour, and the umps just stopped the game at that point.
Who the fuck made that decision?
I know. Well, probably the Mets front office, but
we'll get into that.
But yeah, we'll be getting there very shortly. So the game one was a 9-inning suspended game that was played. And then, of course, game 2 of this doubleheader was 7. Because the game was suspended, in the statistics and in the history books on April 11th, it will read that Javy Baez did his performance with the Cubs as well as his performance with the Mets. What's interesting, this is only the 3rd time this has happened, but what's really effed up
3 times. Wow.
But what's fucked up about it is the 2 other times were like legit, and the Cubs are involved in all 3 of these now, and the Mets are involved in 2 out of the 3.
Wow.
1922 this is my favorite one. This is better than the Mets one. In 1922, in the middle of a doubleheader, the Cardinals and Cubs made a deal, and St. Louis sent their player to the Cubs, and the Cubs sent some guy named Mac Flack to the Cardinals
during the game.
Between the doubleheader.
Oh, I see.
And then they played in the second game and scored hits for each team. So they
simpler time with more complicated shit than ever.
In 1982, the Mets sent Joel Youngblood to the Expos. The Mets played a day game. Now, this would never, ever happen today. Like, when all those other trades were made at the trade deadline, most of those guys didn't play until a few days later, even, from when the trade was made. But in this case, he got a hit for the Mets in the day game and then got a pinch hit that night for the Expos. So he played in 2 games for 2 different teams on the same day. So the Javy Baez is more of a fun little story because of how it was recorded in the books, but it's kind of interesting. It'll be the 3rd player in history to have recorded a hit for 2 different teams on the same day.
I think the moral of the story is baseball is fucking weird.
Well, I think
incredible this shit could happen.
Well, I mean, I don't think there is any other sport that keeps more statistics about anything.
And those things were known like 2 seconds after they happened, I'm sure. I mean, like everyone.
Oh yeah, the articles a few
people
hours
love
later.
that shit.